On May 22nd, 2025, the theme park landscape changed forever with the official opening of Epic Universe in Orlando. As Universal's fourth gate and the first major park to open in Orlando in 25 years, it has been the hottest ticket in town, and the crowds have been relentless. Right now, fans are absolutely flocking to Battle at the Ministry, where wait times hit 2, 3, or even 4 hours, and queues often close early just to keep up. But is Harry Potter, the undisputed king of theme parks, being upstaged by a 9-foot-tall, 800-pound legend making a century-long comeback? Universal just debuted 14 of the most visceral, fast-moving animatronics ever built for Monsters Unchained. While Potter has the hype, the tech and dark universe is on a completely different level. One where the monsters don't just move, they walk. And while Potter fans are stuck in that 4-hour line, Dark Universe is delivering world-class thrills at a fraction of the wait. Today, we're putting the omnidirectional lifts of the Ministry up against the raw power of the Frankenstein Experiment to see which one is truly worth your time in Epic Universe. Let's break it down. If you've spent any time on my channel, you know I love to rank high-speed coasters and wax poetic about the latest thrill experiences. But that isn't the only thing I'm after. There's something truly magical about a well-executed dark ride. In many ways, it's the best way to put the theme in theme park. After all, what would Galaxy's Edge be without Rise of the Resistance? Or Disneyland without Pirates of the Caribbean? Following my recent trip to Epic Universe, I finally got to experience two new giants in the world of immersive storytelling: Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein Experiment, and Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. Today, I'm putting these behemoths head to head to see how they stack up. I'll be scoring each ride a maximum of 10 points for its queue, ride experience, comfort and accessibility, and re-rideability. So, which one of these new masters of dark ride magic will come out on top? Let's get to it. I grew up at a Six Flags park, the land of concrete queues and metal switchbacks with no personality whatsoever. I never truly understood what a queue could be until my first visit to Disney. The ride that sticks out to me the most is the Haunted Mansion. Partially because I'm a huge fan of that spooky aesthetic, which we will talk about plenty today, but also because it taught me that a great queue is a vital part of the story itself. It's the appetizer that makes the main course taste better. Let's start with Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. In November 2024, Universal released a collection of 15 photos that teased elements of the ride. Interestingly, 14 of those 15 photos focused entirely on the queue, making it clear from the start that the walkthrough was a headline feature. The magic begins the moment you enter the Flu Network and step into the Grand Ministry Atrium. It's a reveal that truly has to be seen to be believed. Even 4K video doesn't capture the sheer scale of it. The scope and level of detail here are absolutely unmatched. This queue is practically an attraction in itself. And the immersion doesn't end in the atrium. As you move through the Ministry, the wow moments continue, with everything from talking paintings and enchanted windows to a wonderfully lifelike house elf. Everywhere you look, there is another layer of detail that makes even a long wait feel like part of the adventure. This is, without a doubt, the most stunning ride queue I've ever experienced. 10 out of 10. So can Monsters Unchained compete with a 10 out of 10 right out of the gate? Well, let's take a look. Where the Harry Potter queue is defined by golds, greens, and magical whimsy, Monsters Unchained is dark, foreboding, and quite literally crackling with blue electricity. The Gothic castle housing the ride serves as the centerpiece of Dark Universe, and that atmosphere carries directly into the queue. As you march down dark hallways punctuated by constant flashes of electricity, you'll encounter horrific details like boxes for organ transport and displays showcasing Victoria Frankenstein's many failed experiments. One standout space features an incredible curved staircase surrounded by concrete statues and old-fashioned portraits of the Frankenstein family. My absolute favorite part of this queue is the X-ray display, featuring the corpse of the original Frankenstein's monster, and I have to maintain my cred here by getting the name right. The level of detail on the body is incredible. It looks as authentic as it could possibly be. It is creepy and stunning all at the same time. I also want to highlight the loading station. It opens into a large circular chamber with ride vehicles in constant motion around the perimeter, which is a major reason the wait times often stay surprisingly low. In contrast, I found the Harry Potter loading station to be crowded and slow by comparison. I absolutely loved this queue. It has nearly everything I could ask for. However, it is hard to beat what is likely the best queue in the world currently at Battle at the Ministry. I'm giving Monsters Unchained a very respectable 8 out of 10 here. While the queue is critical to a great dark ride, there has to be a compelling ride at the heart of it. Let's dive into the ride experience for Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. While rides like this often have an intricate pre-show, that is not really the case here. The fantastic queue stands in as the pre-show of sorts for this particular ride. The ride vehicle itself is a 14-seat elevator equipped with seat belts. It looks like a box, and it very much feels like you're sitting in a box, and maybe it's a little weird that there are seats in this elevator. The story unfolds as you ride this elevator through the Ministry of Magic on the day of Dolores Umbridge's trial where, of course, things go sideways. The vehicle does an excellent job of stimulating elevator movement, even though you aren't moving nearly as much as the ride makes you believe. The plot is exciting and there is a lot to see, but much of it is entirely screen-based. While I don't inherently have a problem with screens, it does make the experience hit a little less hard for me. There are certainly sections with stunning physical sets and lifelike animatronics, particularly the Death Eaters, and one massive animatronic I won't spoil here, but the ratio of screens to physical sets felt slightly off. The entire ride experience lasts about 4 minutes. While I enjoyed it thoroughly, compared to that 10 out of 10 queue, I have to give the actual ride experience a 6 out of 10. Let's head over to the haunted house experience of Monsters Unchained: The Frankenstein Experiment. Unlike the Battle at the Ministry, this attraction features 2 distinct pre-shows. A short video-led sequence with Igor explaining the ride vehicle, followed by a longer pre-show that gives you your first taste of the incredible animatronic technology. That animatronic of Frankenstein's monster is just perfect. I was most impressed by the innocence they captured in his expressions. It is exactly as the character should be. If you are a Universal veteran, the ride vehicle will look familiar. It's a KUKA arm system similar to Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. It seats 4 riders with over-the-shoulder restraints, which are necessary because it provides much more intense motion than the elevator vehicles at the Ministry. While Battle at the Ministry relies on screens from the outset, Monsters Unchained takes a different approach. You enter a dark, creepy cave where a Pepper's Ghost Effect Igor that is so good it looks like an animatronic leads you into the main ride area. This is where the KUKA arm really shines, flipping you back to look at a swinging bell overhead or sweeping you past a stunning animatronic of the Phantom of the Opera playing his organ. And that is only the beginning. The physical sets here are massive, and the collection of animatronics is the best I've ever seen. I do have to ding it slightly because one of the figures was broken during my runs, but the rest were so spectacular that I can forgive it. You get to see all the major Universal monsters, and the screen to physical set ratio is much better than at the Ministry. The screens they do use bleed seamlessly into the physical environments. As a lifelong fan of the Universal monsters, I could talk about this ride for days. I had an ear-to-ear grin the entire time. It was everything I hoped a ride based on my favorite property would be. I'm calling this the second best dark ride I've ever experienced, second only to Rise of the Resistance, earning Monsters Unchained a 9 out of 10. Now, let's talk about an area that can make or break an attraction: comfort and accessibility. This category looks at who can actually ride, the overall thrill level, and the dreaded motion sickness factor. Battle at the Ministry is a standout here. First, with a height requirement of only 40 inches, you can bring your younger kids along for the adventure. The 14-seat elevator vehicle is spacious and the seats are comfortable. Since the motion only requires a lap seat belt, it's not overly intense. You get jostled around, but it's an experience the whole family can enjoy together. As for that dreaded motion sickness, this is a motion simulator ride with a lot of screens, a combination that often spells trouble. In fact, Harry Potter's Forbidden Journey is notorious for it. However, even though I'm prone to screen-based motion sickness, I had no issues whatsoever here. Also, if you have a wheelchair, they have a device that can assist you into the ride vehicle. This is a big win for accessibility. For its inclusivity and smoothness, I'm giving the Ministry a 9 out of 10. Monsters Unchained is a different story. The height requirement jumps to 48 inches, so the little ones will have to sit this one out. Though honestly, with the scares in here, they might want to anyway. The Kuka arm vehicle is much more aggressive than the Ministry elevator. It turns, tilts, and even flips you nearly on your back. There's a reason it requires over-the-shoulder restraints. Regarding motion sickness, I also had zero issues here, but for a different reason. The Kuka arm moves you more, but because the ride is focused on physical sets rather than screens, it feels more natural. However, the accessibility is more limited. You must be able to transfer and walk independently to ride. Given those constraints, Monsters Unchained gets a 7 out of 10. Our last category is simple. Is this ride a one and done, or something you want to experience again and again? For Battle at the Ministry, I thoroughly enjoyed my ride. The visuals are amazing and the story is great. I'd definitely ride it again with friends or family, but I didn't feel that immediate run it back urge once it was over. I felt satisfied and ready to move on. But realistically, even if you wanted to marathon it, you just couldn't. Even with an express pass, you can currently only skip that massive line once per day. Between that and a dispatch process that feels surprisingly slow and crowded, the throughput just isn't there yet. Because it's a bit of a one and done per visit, I have to give it a 5 out of 10. Now, I have to admit I'm a little biased, or maybe a lot biased, toward the Universal Monsters. But the second I got off Monsters Unchained, I wanted to jump right back in line. There's a fun factor with that Kuka arm motion and those stunning physical animatronics that I felt was lacking in the screen-heavy Potter ride. I was smiling the entire time. Crucially, this ride is a real people eater. You board while the vehicle is still in motion, much like a ski resort chairlift, so there is no wasted time stopping and starting. It often has one of the lowest wait times in the park, not just because other lands are more popular, but because the ride is designed to move crowds efficiently. For pure re-rideability, Monsters Unchained takes a 9 out of 10. Taking a look at the final scoreboard, Monsters Unchained: The Frankenstein Experiment edges out Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry with a close score of 33-30. But let's be honest, in a showdown like this, there are no losers. With Epic Universe, Universal has delivered 2 distinct, world-class dark ride experiences that set a new bar for the industry. On one hand, you have the greatest queue ever conceived in the Ministry. On the other, you have a collection of physical animatronics in the dark universe that truly boggles the mind. But I want to hear from you. Does the perfect immersion of the Potter queue outweigh the screen-heavy ride experience? Or are you like me and you'll take the physical sets and a Kuka arm over screens any day of the week? Where do you stand on the screens versus sets debate? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into everything Epic Universe and theme parks. My name is Ryan, and I'll see you at the parks.